It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heady stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
8 3-minute rounds. The gloves are 10 ounces. And Anthony Joshua weighs like 250 pounds. So I'm not really sure how this is going to end up happening. But this is one of those. Normally, I don't give credit to the Paul brothers. And, I give them credit for being great on social media and creating a lot of buzz for the sport. I give him credit for getting in the round with Anthony Joshua. This is not like a Mike Tyson fight where Tyson's 60 years old.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Travion Henderson and a few others have the Pats at 9-2. Is excellence back in New England, Joe?
Excellence is back in a big way. Mike Vrabel came back into town. Drake May has come out of his shell, and Travion Henderson has come out of, I don't know where he was. He was in obscurity, but he had 3 touchdowns on Thursday night.
Fantasy Sports Today.
And welcome in. It is In-Game Live Game Day on a terrific Tuesday evening. Scott Wetzel and Gabriel Morency for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern Time, watching, analyzing, betting the world of sports. Little smorgasbord tonight. A little bit of everything. We got some college football games, one underway, one more starting in a little bit. We have college basketball, decent slate of college basketball tonight, NHL, NBA. How about the little NFL preview? We got 2 monster games coming up on Saturday we'll get to as well, plus a couple of gambling lessons, one of which included last night's game. Did you catch it? If you did, I'll be impressed because there was a play on the final play. In fact, there was a non-play on the final play, if you will, that cost people some bets. We'll talk about that as well. So a lot to get through over the next 2 hours. First up, though, game time. What's betting you off tonight, Gabe?
The Big Ten's dominance is what stands out to me so far in this bowl season and tonight, and we have it going on right now as we speak with Illinois beating Tennessee by 10 points, and the USC Trojans are up next against USC. But so much talk about all the conferences all the time and who does what and the strength, and it just means more for the SEC. Well, the SEC is getting beaten down right now. Well, the ACC is not very good. Okay, well, the Miami Hurricanes just went into Texas A&M and beat them. Oh, the ACC is not very good. Well, Virginia just easily beat Missouri. Oh, the SEC. Well, here's Illinois easily beating Tennessee right now. The only thing I'm upset about is I just wish that it was USC were playing an SEC school tonight. But we're riding the wave with the Big Ten teams. And, by the way, the Big Ten is 5-0 in bowl games so far. And Illinois would make it 6-0 if they win tonight. USC would make it 7-0. So one thing to keep your eye on is the conference records in bowl season, and the Big Ten is dominating.
Yeah. And surprisingly enough, though, that USC line went down to 4.5 today. It was 5.5, but it's down to 4.5. But you got a whole bunch of people not playing, which we'll get into here in a little bit. So a lot to get to. We got Sean Higgs, winnersandwhiners.com, joining us in about a half hour. Adam Kaufman, SportsGrid host, will join us in about an hour and a half to preview some NFL stuff along with some late night NBA. So first up, though, opening pickoff time. I'll start with that USC TCU game. It kicks off at 9 o'clock. There weren't that many 8 o'clock starts, so I used a few 9 o'clockers here at our opening pickoff. I'm going to go with the over, Gabe. USC has their starting quarterback. They don't have their 3 leading receivers. TCU doesn't have their quarterback, but they have their leading receivers. So mix it all up. It's 56. I'm just going to throw it out there. I said this at the beginning of the bowl season. You have to take one approach. If you start flip-flopping back and forth, you're going to drive yourself nuts. I took the approach of I'm taking it USC like it's a real USC team, just like it's a real TCU team. I know they're not, and that might not be the smartest thing to do, but I'm going to do it that way. USC averages 37 points a game. TCU averages 31 a game. That's 68 in my book, and in my book, that's more than 56 and a half. I know it's more complicated than that, but I think we get 57 points. It's a TCU basically home game. There'll be a lot of people there, so I think people will be pumped up, which means the team's generally pumped up. So long story short, give me over 56 and a half, 55 and a half, depending on where you do your shopping, USC TCU.
Yeah, this number went as low as 4 points earlier in the day, sitting at 4.5 right now. USC are without their top 2 guys. So, and Lemon is a stud and Lane is a stud. They're both going to the National Football League. Where their heaviest hit the USC Trojans is their offensive line. Like basically 4 of their 5 offensive linemen are not playing. So it's kind of wild that their star quarterback is playing behind such an inexperienced offensive line. But USC do this on a yearly basis. TCU have been hit on the defensive side of the ball. They lost their offensive coordinator, right? There's been a couple of little things, and Hoover was their best player as their quarterback. And it should be noted, their quarterback is super inexperienced that they have coming in and not very good as well. But maybe the kid has the game of his life. But I think the USC Trojans are going to roll them. Despite all the opt-outs of the USC Trojans and, going to the National Football League, they still have star players. And basically, USC, every bowl game has a new star wide receiver that steps up for the last guy and puts up big numbers. And today, I think it's all about King Miller. So I'll lay the points with the USC Trojans. Lay the 4.5.
All right. Next one for me, little NBA starts at 9 o'clock again. Over 242.5 Boston and Utah. Big number, right? I get it. It takes 2 to tango, but Utah's at home, and they do score a ton of points. They don't win too often, but they score a ton. They're the number 2 over team in the NBA, 20-11 over. So I'm confident they're going to get their number. I'm really confident Boston's going to put 120 plus on the board. If this game was in Boston, I'd be a little leery. But I'd be surprised if this isn't, one of those goofy 135, 130 games. So give me over 242.5 Celtics and Jazz.
I do like the over of that game. I love overs in Jazz games. But give me the over the football game as well. Although I will say the actual smart bet is to bet the first half under and any in-game over. That has been the continuous crazy theme of these bowl games. Terrible first halves, games open up in the second half, and they still stay under the number, but it generally goes over what the halftime number was. We haven't had just a pure, like UTSA, I guess, is one of them, but out of all the bowl games, we really haven't had like a pure natural shootout back and forth from the opening kickoff. They always open up late, so hopefully this game is different. We like the over as well, but you guys have been warned. These games have started off extremely slow.
Yeah, I'll give you the numbers, Gabe. I have them here. 20-11 now. After these first 2 games today have gone under. First half unders are 20-11, including 16-5 the last 21 games. And overall, it's 20-11. So it's over the last 3 weeks, it is so rare that you said it that these teams come out flying for whatever reason. So I like that play a lot. My last one will be actually I get 2 more. Let's go under 141.5 St. Mary's and Pepperdine. St. Mary's, one of my automatic under teams. We've had some success with that. 9 o'clock tip off. Again, they'll tip off right at 9 o'clock in a college basketball game. So give me under the Gales and Pepperdine.
I brought up King Miller. So Lane is out. Lemon is their big star wide receiver. Their offensive line, they have a bunch of backups and or sort of kids going to be starting on the O-line. I don't think they're going to want to get Maeva killed tonight. I think there's going to be a heavy dose of King Miller. I've always been a big King Miller fan, but they throw the ball a lot. I think tonight you're going to see them run the ball a little bit more. He could be more involved in the passing attack. He doesn't catch a ton of passes, but his receiving yards only 9.5. So it's basically 1 or 2 catches for him. and he can pop that up. But let's go over 80.5 rush yards for King Miller, in which he's done in 4 of their last 5 football games. 124 against UCLA, 127 against Northwestern, 128 against Nebraska. And that's without getting a ton of carries either. So I think you'll get a couple of more touches tonight with the offense being the way it is. I think he becomes the focal point. Let's go over 80.5 yards.
All right. My last one, you'll like this one if you like trends. Colorado State college basketball, 9 o'clock tip against Nevada, laying 1.5. Colorado State is the home team. They're 15-1 straight up at home, so they don't lose at home. And how about covering the spread, Scott? How about Colorado State is on a 17-3 against the spread run their last 20 games, home or away? And now I'm only laying 1.5 that play on a team that's playing great at home. Boy, I like this one. Give me a Colorado State laying 1.5.
I like Colorado State tonight. They own Nevada. Nevada struggle when they go there, up there to Fort Collins. And Nevada have some defensive flaws that Colorado State will be able to exploit. Like a lot of teams, Scott, people got to pay attention to free throws and how many free throws the teams give up. And Nevada give up a lot of free throws as well. I do like Colorado State. We're going to keep it simple. King Miller score touchdown. FanDuel's got a great number at -140. It's more expensive everywhere else.
All right, we are set, locked and loaded. More bets coming up in Game Live here on a Tuesday.
Arvil Reese at 8%. I got to tell you right now, I have no idea who that is or if they're playing a joke on the show.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting
Who is that?
here, but I have no idea.
You need to know?
But no idea. But don't you have to pick the Heisman winner, Donnie? Isn't that like the rule of thumb if you're going to take a quarterback? Is he not the best quarterback?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Already been doing some work in golf, doing some work in racing. And he said, dial into this call. And they put up this deck about what TGL is going to be. This is like 4 years ago at this point. And I was like, how have I not seen this on social? This is the Tiger's involved, Rory's involved. There's a screen. I was like, this is crazy. We were all texting each other like, is this for real? And that's really where it started.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
My problem with the Raiders is I think they're one of the worst teams in NFL history right now.
In history?
Joe,
Cleveland had some bad teams.
Joe, they had 75 yards against the Eagles. And it
That
wasn't
was
surprising.
Yeah.
It wasn't
outside of Brock
surprising.
Towers, what do they have? Trey Tucker? Ashton Genty in the offensive line?
This moment of the Raiders, they just feel so lifeless.
Need a quarterback.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League are now official partners with Kalshi. It takes effect this week. Each side can use the other's intellectual property for co-marketing purposes, and Kalshi will be promoted during home games at the United Center and on Blackhawks broadcasts. First of its kind, certainly probably not the last as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1, just getting underway. So we got our opening pickoff plays in. I got the over in the USC-TCU game. I like the over in the Celtics-Utah Jazz. Going to play with under St. Mary's Pepperdine, 141.5 or so. And then Colorado State laying 1.5 at home against Nevada. Gabe, what are your 4 plays for us?
I've got a bunch of late-night college basketball as well, a bunch of games that tip off at 9 o'clock, but we'll give the football now. USC minus the points, USC TCU over, and we're keeping it simple. King Miller, it's going to be a King Miller day. So over 80.5 rush yards for King Miller, USC Trojan running back, and King Miller to score a touchdown. which Bet365, it's like minus 175. FanDuel is minus 140. You want to talk about a discrepancy in prices. So we always talk about having multiple sportsbook guys, having multiple options to play at Polymarket, Kalshi's of the world as well, because there will be different prices. It seems to be more and more, Scott, that we have more discrepancy with prices, especially with props, right? It used to be, there's more and more books now, right? There used to be a couple of books. Everybody kind of had the same numbers for the most part. To be like, oh, it's a half point different or a yard here. But we see now, like FanDuel and DraftKings are competitors. They have different numbers. Bet365 does their own thing. You've got the MGMs of the world and then, everybody else and, the old school guys, etc. So there are a lot of different numbers out there if you shop around.
Yeah. I think they realize, Gabe, you said this before, like the big time, guys are putting 5 figures on games. They're probably not doing it through DraftKings or FanDuel on their computer, sitting at home at Topeka High. They're in Vegas, so I don't think they're afraid of being
not
caught
with
their pants down. Yeah. So maybe not even in Vegas, maybe in Caraco or somewhere. But I don't think they worry about it. Yeah, I think they say, let's put a strange line out there. Maybe we'll get some more action. Maybe just a little bit more on the game.
FanDuel or DraftKings would block somebody that bet a ton of money.
Right.
And they do.
They would actually.
Like they would just
they
would just ban them. Right? Like if somebody came in and bet FanDuel will take like a big bet on the Super Bowl or something, but let's say Paul Bovey hits FanDuel for $127,000 on a Sunday afternoon, and it does it the following week, and he's dropping like 25 dimes on games, and even let's say bigger players, $150,000, $200,000 a game, etc. They don't want your business. They really don't. Like their business model is like fast food. You know what I mean? They're more like, look who they market to, right? These books, right? They want the college kids, Scott. They want the same game parlay dude that's paying $10 plays, $25 bets. They don't want like wise guys and stuff. I remember once I got into it with an offshore book, and I said to them, I said, you guys have a really good book, but I said, man, your customer service sucks, and you guys are rude to people. And he goes, yeah, you know what? Because we really don't want people like you. And he was honest. And he goes, I'll be honest. And he didn't even say it rudely, but he goes, like, honestly, he goes, yeah. He goes, I don't know if you really know something about our book, but, like, we're kind of catered to, like, the $5,000 and player up type guy. Like, we're not your place if you're looking for the perk because you bet $500 on a game. We're not proud of you. We're not impressed. Like, right? Like, there's no, like, basically, there was a guy who told me, he was like, yeah, he goes, there ain't no perks here, man. He goes, but if you want to bet big money, this is the place to do it. Right? And it was Bookmaker, actually. Right? And it's true. Like, Bookmaker, they're not going to do frills and stuff like that, but you want to drop like $5 million in Bitcoin on the first half of a college game, they'll take your bet. Right? You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of books won't, Scott, right? It's the new market that we're in.
Yeah. I'll never forget when I was dealing with the local Louis the Lip, right? I befriended one guy that was my kind of runner, my in-between guy, right? And he had a guy that was just betting all these baseball games, Gabe. And I never forget. I told him, I said, Dick, I said, man, I call up these lines, and it's this in the paper, and I'm calling them up, and it's like so much different, in the what your guy is giving me, right? And he said he told me about this guy who was betting with them, and they carried him, Gabe, for about 2 months. And he even told me this. He said, Scott, if he continues to win, we're going to cut him off. So what you really should do is bet, because he was my friend, really. So he told me, like, bet with that crazy line. And then sure enough, after like 2 months, they cut him off and I asked the main guy, I said, well, what happened? He said, yeah, I won too much. I was like, yeah, but that's your business. It's gambling. That's, what do you mean he won too much? Yeah, we don't want your business. You win too much. Yeah, see you later. So
it goes. You'd be surprised too. I lived in Vegas, and I lived near the Stratosphere. The Stratosphere is not like, some wise guy sports book or anything like that. But nevertheless, like you said, it's a Vegas casino. And I was betting like $500 UFC parlays. Sometimes $1,000, $500, like 2 fight parlays, basically. This guy and that guy, sometimes 3 fighters. And I won all the time. I was winning all the time. And I'd go in, and lo and behold, man, they knew, like, they had me flagged and stuff. And they were like, no, you can only bet $250. And I was like,
wow.
You're on the strip in Las Vegas. Like, what are we doing here?
yeah, right?
I said, I'm not coming in with $5,000 bets, guys. I'm like, I said, I'm like jerk that lives across the street, man. It's like betting, like, what do you care? Like, I was like, what do you care if I'm winning $500 parlays?
Yeah.
They cut it to $250. And I was like, all I'm going to do is come back in 5 minutes anyways. Right? Like,
yeah, go to a different teller.
Yeah, because it's not illegal to play it again, right? So it's like, all right, don't take it now. I'll be back in an hour, right? But then they started to spread the word, etc. But you'd be surprised, man, how quickly books will squeeze people, Scott, right? Yeah. And even bookies. I remember a bookie told me once I was getting crushed, and I was unfortunate. I had to meet this guy, like, basically every week, like, almost. And it was really angering me, seeing the guy's face every week, giving him money, right? And so I meet the guy, and I said, man, what a year, man. I said, I just can't get on track. And he goes, you're not alone. He goes, no one can. And he goes, nobody has won for, like, he goes, I'm crushing everybody. And I said, well, it's good for you. And he said, no, it's not. Sky, that's the whole point. It's got to go both ways. Yeah, he goes, no, it's not good. He goes, man, everybody's bankrupt and wiped out. He goes, it's good if we all sort of win, back and forth. Anytime it's one-sided, it's not good for everybody. Except now, in the modern world, like, screw these books, right? It's just a straight-out war. You don't care what's good for them. They don't care what's good for you, and that's why people try to squeeze them as much as they do.
Yeah. All right, take a look at some of the scores the Poly Market seeing as well. In Game Live continues on the grid.
Arvel Reese at 8%. I got to tell you right now, I have no idea who that is or if they're playing a joke on me, Joe.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting
Who is that?
here, but I have no idea.
You even know?
But no idea. But don't you have to pick the Heisman winner, Don? Isn't that like the rule of thumb if you're going to take a quarterback? Is he not the best quarterback?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Already been doing some work in golf, doing some work in racing. And he said, dial into this call. And they put up this deck about what TGL is going to be. This is like 4 years ago at this point. And I was like, how have I not seen this on social? This is the Tiger's involved, Rory's involved. There's a screen. I was like, this is crazy. We were all texting each other like, is this for real? And that's really where it started.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
My problem with the Raiders is I think they're one of the worst teams in NFL history right now.
In history? Joe, Cleveland had some bad teams.
Joe, they had 75 yards against the Eagles. And it wasn't surprising.
Yeah. I mean, outside of Brock Bowers, what do they have? Trey Tucker, Ashton Genty in the offensive line.
This moment of the Raiders, they just feel so lifeless.
Need a quarterback.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League are now official partners with Kalshi. It takes effect this week. Each side can use the other's intellectual property for co-marketing purposes, and Kalshi will be promoted during home games at the United Center and on Blackhawks broadcasts. First of its kind, certainly probably not the last as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Really just getting underway. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1. So we got a little college football, a little NFL preview, some NHL, NBA, a whole slew of things, college basketball as well, including our Poly Market play. We always kind of pay attention to that as well. I found one. I don't know what it is. New York doesn't offer these bets, but I found one on Poly Market today, Gabe. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel to win the AFC Coach of the Year. They're giving me even money. Risk basically $52 to win 100, and that includes the $52 bet. So basically an even bet. And I'm thinking, like, who else is going to win in the AFC. You got some storylines. The Cohen baby down in Jacksonville, but he doesn't have the kind of the fanfare that Vrabel has. Nobody in the North.
I think Vrabel deserves the head coach, the coach of the year award more than Drake May MVP, personally. I don't think you can win both. I don't like the concept. How can you be the coach of the year if you have the best player in the league? Scotty Bowman never won a coach of the year. Phil Jackson didn't. Joe Torre didn't. Manager, you know what I mean? If you have, so you can't tell me, there's the best quarterback and the best coach. Supposedly the coach is the one, but I think they're both going to win, right? So I don't have a problem with it. Yeah, if you're getting better odds on the poly market, I'm not getting in front of the play. I'm just saying I acknowledge him as the coach of the year more than Drake May. Drake May's not the best player in the NFL.
Right.
And it should be noted they have as many wins. I just want to throw this out there. They have as many wins, the Patriots, against teams with a winning record as the New York Giants do. 2.
That's funny.
Just saying.
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I was running it down today. Just every team has a flaw, every single one, except maybe Philadelphia as the defending champs. But all the others, whether it's overcoming Sam Darnold, whether it's overcoming a second-year quarterback in Denver and New England, are they really going to make that jump? With Jacksonville, is Trevor Lawrence really going to win it? I do like the Houston team. They might not have as many flaws as just, is C.J. Stroud going to be able to take that next step? But there's something, Gabe. Some team is going to have to overcome all this stuff, and whether it's Drake May and the Patriots or not, I don't know. But 11-1, I do think that's a halfway decent price. But I think Vrabel will get it. I agree with. If I had to do one, I would go with Vrabel, even though the schedule has been pretty easy. But listen, you win the game
just because it's such a big turnaround, right? There really is, though. Yes. This year, there are a lot of coaches that it's like, wow. They really did do a great job, right? There really are, more so than usual. And listen, no one really ever cares about this besides people that bet on it and or if you're the agent. Nobody cares about awards and stuff like this, right? But Kyle Shanahan is the second. Look, so what are you getting? You're getting a little bit better than plus 100, right, on the poly market, right?
Right.
Because it's plus 100 at a sports book right now. So you get a little bit more, like you said.
The same.
Yeah. Shanahan is plus 135. Shanahan's getting a lot of love because of all the injuries that they've had. McDonald's done a great job, bro. They could be the 1 seed in Seattle, right? And he's got Sam Darnold as his quarterback, who's not the MVP of the league.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? You got Liam Cohen who done a great job with Jacksonville.
Cohen's done a great job.
I can't argue Vrabel being the coach of the year. Like I said, I have a thing I don't feel like Drake May is the best player in the NFL. That's the MVP should be, but no one really ran away with it. And Matt Stafford kind of threw it away over the last couple of weeks, to be honest. Yeah. Because Stafford would have won.
Yeah, because the media loves Stafford and the whole story and his wife and all the other stuff, the things he has going on. And he would have been the one. But you're right. You can't give it to him. You just can't. I don't care how much you like him after last night's performance, in a decent-sized game. I will say a monster. You can't. So you got to look elsewhere. And then, who else is really kind of emerged? And you got to have some kind of hook. And I think Vrabel and New England and all that, they have a little bit more of a story than even Denver and Peyton.
You know what, those guys? There really isn't that sexy, flashy player this year in the NFL. In that, look, NFL Offensive Player of the Year award right now. JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigbas, minus 325 to win.
Wow.
Great player. Not like the guy who's put up massive numbers. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's very effective. He gets open, and, it's kind of one of those deals. Oh, my goodness, Tennessee's losing 27-21. They just returned the kick for a touchdown. It was like Illinois settled for, So here we go. 27-27. They return the kickoff for a touchdown. They could have a 1-point lead. Total bettors are praying that they miss the extra point now, Scott. To keep this get this to the over. Miss the extra point. Go for 2. Go for 2.
Marvel Reese at 8%. I got to tell you right now, I have no idea who that is or if they're playing a joke on me, Joe.
Yeah, yeah, that's going to be interesting
Who is that?
here, but I have no idea.
You need to know?
But no idea. But don't you have to pick the Heisman winner, Don? Isn't that like the rule of thumb if you're going to take a quarterback? Is he not the best quarterback?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Already been doing some work in golf, doing some work in racing. And he said, dial into this call. And they put up this deck about what TGL is going to be. This is like 4 years ago at this point. And I was like, how have I not seen this on social? This is the Tiger's involved, Rory's involved. There's a screen. I was like, this is crazy. We were all texting each other like, is this for real? And that's really where it started.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
My problem with the Raiders is I think they're one of the worst teams in NFL history right now.
In history?
Joe,
Cleveland had some bad teams.
Joe, they had 75 yards against the Eagles. And it
That
wasn't
was
surprising.
yeah.
Like, it wasn't
outside of Brock
surprising.
Bowers, what do they have? Trey Tucker, Ashton Genty in the offensive line.
This moment of the Raiders, they just feel so lifeless.
Need a quarterback.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League are now official partners with Kalshi. It takes effect this week. Each side can use the other's intellectual property for co-marketing purposes, and Kalshi will be promoted during home games at the United Center and on Blackhawks broadcasts. First of its kind, certainly probably not the last as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Hour number one, midway through. So craziness in the college football game. We said it as we were leaving. Tennessee scores on the kickoff return. So they're up 28-27, 55 point. This over was left for dead at halftime. Just dead. But it's been nothing but scoring as I
This
thought
has
it
been
would
the
be
theme,
the starting
Scott.
game.
Yeah, wait it out, and it's really something to consider, guys. Like you went over the numbers. We brought it up. 20 and 11 first halves, and they stayed with the game. But the first halves, put it this way, so the 20 and 11 is a nice run, Scott. We're talking basically 60 plus percent, 65 plus percent, etc. But if you countered that with, I'm playing the first half unders, and then I'm flipping it over and playing the in-game over at halftime.
Yeah.
Then I'd like to see the numbers, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's 15 and 5-ish, 14 and 6-ish, in that range. Yeah. Hell, even the Coastal Carolina game today, guys, it was terrible. It opened up. They all open up. They all open up late. They don't get to the original number, but they often get close after.
Yeah. 16 and 5 first half unders last 21 games. Amazing. And you're right. I bet more times than not the second half would go over. It'd be similar. It'd probably be 16 and 5 over second half.
Yeah, look at this game, guys. It was 10-7 at the half.
At the half? I mean, they got a gazillion points. Yeah.
Now,
let's see if our good
they put up 21 in the third, and now 17 in the fourth so far, and we got 5 minutes left.
Wow. Second with our good buddy Sean Higgs. Winnersandwhiners.com. No doubt he is on the over on this football game, at least second half, right? Sean, what's going on, my friend?
No, I got nothing this one. I like the over a little bit. I was hesitant on this a little bit. I was a little wishy-washy. I liked Illinois just because, you know what? Who next Tennessee beat worthwhile? Nobody. Maybe nobody at all. And then I'm like, well, you know what? I got no defenses and 2 solid quarterbacks. But then you see how the first half goes. I'm like, oh, brother, what? You know what? Mom's going to swing by. My brother went home today with his kids. My mom's going to come over. We're going to, wash some shirts, as we like to say, and talk about the trip and how everything went. So I was like, no reason to get involved in this game. We got USC TCU coming up. I'll worry about that game instead.
I thought Illinois I nearly money-lined it, and I didn't. I'm glad I didn't because I got caught up. I am a big Big Ten guy, and I like them in this game. Illinois take these games very seriously. They beat South Carolina last year in a very similar sort of spot. Like, and South Carolina last year were better than this year's Tennessee team, right? And I didn't care that it was in Tennessee. So what, right? So I knew Illinois were going to be fired up. But, plus 125, plus 130 compared to plus 3.5 just was not enough. I was like, it's just, if it's plus 150, okay, but nah, it's just not enough to entice me. It's not worth the trade-off. So I said, I'll just take the 3.5, and we'll see, guys. Scott, I'll tell you, the plus 3.5 might really come in handy here right now, considering the way this game is with the 1 point.
Yeah, I'm with you, Gabriel. Like, you see the 125, 130, even when we talk about, on Mondays, we do, the props for, touchdowns, whatever. It's like, is 110 really that enticing, or 20, whatever. It's not, 3.5 years the difference. You're going to lose by a point here or whatever. It's for $25.
Oh, big play, Illinois.
Nice.
Well, this game's going wild late. Let's go, Illinois.
Man, how do you explain that? Are the defense, they would put new players in there? I mean, maybe they did. Maybe that's the answer, Scott. Maybe they got the backups in there. They don't really kind of keep track.
I really think the week's off, and I think the bowl stuff, guys, where, dude, Michigan and Texas yesterday, the players were hanging out together at an amusement park.
Yeah.
They don't even really practice. You know what I mean? All they practice. Yeah, they practice before they get there, right? But they don't. Once they're there, I swear, I've seen Michigan have gone to a hospital. We went to an amusement park. Arch Manning and Bryce Underwood played mini golf together, whatever, dude. They're not. It's not a real. It's different,
It turned into an NBA game. Will be a bunch of scoring, and then it gets down to crunch time. Yeah. We'll straighten up late in the game and see who's going to win this game late.
Yeah. You get to be buddies in the first half. You don't care, but then you get hit once or twice by the opposition, and you're like, screw them. You know what? All right.
Or a kickoff return, and it lights the bench up. You know what I mean? Or your quarterback gets somebody does the first cheap shot of the game. Boom. Yep. You know what? We're gonna play like that today. And the next thing you know, 20 minutes later they're fighting. Right? Okay. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be like that. It just takes one bad guy to say, no, I'm going to hit someone.
Yeah, so a late hit going out of bounds, and then it sets it off.
Yeah, I wouldn't even doubt the head coach tells some scrub, go hit somebody. Just do me a favor. Don't kill anybody, but do me.
Yeah, but even the coach is a big
create a scrub or something like that.
Sarkisian and Biff Poggi and they're both great guys. They're both, blah, blah, blah. It's
Biff Poggi.
It takes some of the intensity off. It'd be nice, right, to go to a bowl game with coaches saying, we don't like that team. We don't like that conference. Right. We don't like them. We want to win. They don't do that now. No, it's all, it's fun. It's, it's cool to meet them. And
that's a problem.
USC TCU, where you going to the late one, Sean?
Yeah, you're a Sean.
57.5.
I like SC in the over in this night game here.
I'm going to go. How many games did you make it to, Higgs?
Yeah.
0.
Yeah. So, just for the record, Mr. Higgs last week, we got into it because Sean was literally within a half hour of 5 games, almost in one day. And he talked a big game earlier in the week. Oh, I could go to this game and I could go to that one later in the day, and I could easily go to 3 games on Saturday. I said, you won't go to one of them.
Well, it wasn't 3 games on Saturday.
I said, you won't go to one. And now you admit 9. You didn't make it to the Houston Bowl. That's the one. Come on, man.
And I asked my son if he wanted to go. He thought to get tickets. They were $400 or $500 a pop. I'm like, get that. Listen, I like your friends.
They scared you off. What about the Frisco Bowl? That one. That wasn't $500. You didn't want to drive out to Frisco.
I could have went up to that one for the what was that? I think it was Appalachian State was up there. Miami, Ohio game was up there as well, and they were $120. I could have went up there for a week. That could have been a couple days up there. We could have did that one.
Yes. Jeez, I figured App State and Miami, Ohio.
$25.
Yeah, but I would have been
getting more than 10 out of me. 10 or 20.
No, I would have been
lucky I'm at the game.
I would have been on TV for that one. I would have been on TV for that one. I would have been right there front center.
Hey, this will blow your mind. Speaking of ticket price, this will blow your mind. Tickets for the Rose Bowl, Alabama and Indiana, $90.
Wow.
$90.
I was going to guess 900.
Just for the record, I went to Alabama-Michigan Rose Bowl game 2 years ago, and I actually ended up selling a couple of tickets because I had a couple of extras. I sold 2 tickets the night before the game for $550 each. $90, Alabama and Indiana. This college playoff format doesn't work. You can't expect fans to fly around, Scott, 3 weeks in a row all over the effing country. Not everybody's a millionaire.
That's the thing that no one talks about when they say, add more, and I'm all for adding more teams, but that's really the problem. They're playing in front of empty stadiums because the local people aren't going to those games. And you said a game, you can't expect the Ohio State fan to go fly to California for a third-round game, and then Florida for a second-round game, and then Houston, for the championship. You can't. Who's got that time? Let alone the money.
Like if you're an Indiana fan, you want to be at the Rose Bowl, but you're thinking, I'd really like to be at the championship too. Like, dude, going to the Rose Bowl isn't cheap. Flying to LA and getting a hotel, the tickets might be cheap, but I tell you, the Pasadena hotels aren't, and the whole it's asking too much of fans.
You're flying into places on New Year's Eve or the day before. You're paying quadruple because it's a holiday on top of that.
Yeah, it's insane.
That too.
Yeah,
that too.
You got to put these games on campus. Pretty simple. Put them on the freaking campuses. It's the only way
you don't want to do that because the campuses are empty because all the kids are on winter break.
And the weather sucks at a lot of these campuses, Scott. Imagine I don't want to go to a game now in the winter. I want to watch it on TV.
Major bed now laying it. That's what they wanted. Have them on the campus. The kids will show up.
They want their cake and they want to eat it too. Let's call it out for what.
Yeah.
Arvil Reese at 8%. I got to tell you right now, I have no idea who that is or if they're playing a joke on me, Joe.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting
Who is that?
here, but I have no idea.
You even know?
But no idea. But don't you have to pick the Heisman winner, Don? Isn't that like the rule of thumb if you're going to take a quarterback? Is he not the best quarterback?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Already been doing some work in golf, doing some work in racing. And he said, dial into this call. And they put up this deck about what TGL is going to be. This is 4 years ago at this point. And I was like, how have I not seen this on social? This is the Tiger's involved, Rory's involved. There's a screen. I was like, this is crazy. We were all texting each other like, is this for real? And that's really where it started.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
My problem with the Raiders is I think they're one of the worst teams in NFL history right now.
In history?
Joe,
Cleveland had some bad teams.
Joe, they had 75 yards against the Eagles. And it wasn't surprising.
Outside of Brock Towers, what do they have? Trey Tucker, Ashton Genty in the offensive line.
This moment of the Raiders, they just feel so lifeless.
Need a quarterback.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League are now official partners with Kalshi. It takes effect this week. Each side can use the other's intellectual property for co-marketing purposes, and Kalshi will be promoted during home games at the United Center and on Blackhawks broadcasts. First of its kind, certainly probably not the last as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe talk with Sean Higgs, winnersandwhiners.com. So we got a big decision here. 4th down, maybe 1, maybe it's a first down, still under review. You guys are ahead of me. I know that for Illinois, which trails 28-27 with 2.5 minutes left. If they get the first down, almost milk the clock, but you're still looking at a 50-yard field goal or so.
Vols do have 3 timeouts, too.
Yeah, they have 3 timeouts. So you're going to get the ball back.
Yeah, this is massive, just sort of the sequence. Call up help. Call up help.
Wow, so it's 4th down.
4th and 1.
I guess they said there wasn't enough evidence to shoot. Naked eye.
I disagree with it.
Right?
I thought he leaned over. I thought it was a first down.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was being pushed out of bounds.
Oh, please don't be in the shotgun. All right. No. All right. Altmaier's going on the center. Nice. Yeah, you figure Illinois are an old school. Belima doesn't play around. So I sort of got faith in him that he won't do something stupid here on the play call.
That's in his blood. That's his old man's Wisconsin. We're going to run the ball down your throat.
Love it. Old school, nice and simple. Little stunt to the fullback. Boom. He popped it for like 12 yards. I thought he was going to pop it for a touchdown, Scott. I was like, oh, my God, keep going. Like, this would be great. Oh.
If you're Tennessee, it sounds strange to say, but you would have been better off with that.
Yeah, let him score.
Getting the first down. Or now let him score, Gabe, right?
We've been through this before.
For two, you're still going to get the ball back.
Teams don't do it, but college, I could see Heupel thinking like that, Scott.
Yeah,
I told the story, Higgs. I told you the story, Scott. Like Keith Bullock, who used to be on our network. I remember he was the linebacker on the Titans, and he was the captain of the defense. And we were doing a game once together, and he said they want to let him score and stuff. And he told us a story about Jeff Fisher. And he said, yeah, like Fisher once told us to let the other team score with like 30 seconds left type of deal. And he goes, I couldn't do it. He goes, it's not in my DNA. I can't do that. And he goes, I told Fisher, I can't call that play and tell my guys not to try. So Fisher goes, I totally understand, but you're going to stand next to me and watch them score. And that's what happened.
Watch them score.
Fisher didn't get mad about it. He said, no, fine. Right. But if you can't do it, fine. He goes, well, stand here next to me. And he goes, they're going to do it anyways.
All your instincts tell you the guy's running right at you to tackle him. Like it's when they're breaking away.
But how many times we see it in the modern era, guys? Teams screw up from the goal line all the time now, Higgs. I don't want to roll over and let a team score. I want to punch the ball loose.
Yeah. They do.
Yeah, but Scott, it's really the same thing. You and I both kind of know, like, we're probably better off letting them score. Because you're Tennessee, you can score. You can get the ball back. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If this was 10-7, like first half, I'd say no, but it's not. You've been going up and down the field. Illinois' defense is shot. So, you don't want to use all your timeouts, and you're going to be left with nothing. Just, you got to pretend you're at the 18-yard line. If Bielema was smart, he'd be telling his guys.
Oh, is he going to tell his kids to take a knee at the one? Oh, God, too.
Yeah.
He'll tell them, don't score if you slide down, and we'll want to kill the clock. Yeah. We don't want to give Tennessee the ball back. But they got 3 timeouts left, guys, so it's going to force Illinois' hand one way or the other here.
Yeah.
Illinois got it. And if I'm Illinois, Sean, I'm trying to score a touchdown here. I'm not playing for a field goal.
Right. That's what
you got to throw. You have to throw. Are they going to throw? They're not going to throw. They should take a shot at the end zone. Who knows? You get a penalty and you're at the. The
ground game's working though. They ran the ball down the field here. They didn't even throw much. Like it was sort of big chunk plays. But are you laying the points with USC tonight?
I'm laying with USC. I'll lay USC. I got a quarterback. I know they're missing wide receivers and this and that, but come on, USC will just bring in another 6'3" lanky guy to get the job done. Come on, they'll score here. They'll have back. I'm not worried about them scoring against TCU. Kind of like the over a little bit as well. But USC would be. Yeah,
that's so attractive. How about the Lakers tonight getting points at home? Everything I saw says LeBron and Luka are playing. When's the last time LeBron's been a home underdog? To the Pistons, no less.
Is it really?
LeBron's stock is dropping with sports books.
Yeah.
Or at least what he means to the number, Scott. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I kind of like the Sacramento Kings at 10 points against the Clippers. I think they're right to steal one.
Really?
9.5.
Yeah.
That game's on NBC too. I think it's a nationally televised game.
Yeah,
which is bizarre world. Let's see. So NBC. Yeah, Scott, because NBC does these 11 o'clock Eastern games, which I'm a fan of on the West Coast.
There you go.
The Blazers on NBC last week at 11 o'clock. Yeah, tonight.
Pistons Lakers NBC tonight.
Yeah, and the Grizzlies Sixers are on now. But the Lakers Pistons is the game. But it's a weird start time. It's 8 o'clock local, but 11:10 Eastern. Late start for an NBA game.
Yeah, they're trying to be like TNT. That's what TNT used to do.
TNT after
like
dark.
An offshoot. Yeah,
that's it. They did. They had the 8 o'clock and the 10:30 game there back in the day in TNT.
Plus, NBC's got no college football, so they figure, we'll just crank the NBA all day.
You got to do something, right?
What do you guys think?
On the road, no less.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, they're so terrible, but I cannot get behind the Clippers laying points. I am not a Clipper lover at all. Anything about them.
Yeah.
What about college basketball, guys? Higgs, I know me and Scott both like Colorado State, but here's another one, guys. Cal are off to their best start in like 65 years.
Yes. I saw
and
that.
they're getting 8.5 tonight. That's not a normal road trip for Louisville. You know what's crazy, guys? Louisville take the most 3 points out of any team in the country, and they hit the most threes. In 2 road games that they played a neutral and they played 2 real road games, Scott. 15 of 71 on the road from 3.
Ooh.
And now you're flying to the West Coast to take on a 12-2 Cal team, and I'm getting 8.5 points. I think Cal can win this game outright, guys.
Yeah.
I'd love it more if it was like in November or January 14th as opposed to no kids there. You know, like that's the thing. Is anybody
I was going to go. Where were you going with that?
Part about
That's it.
They're all
there's a lot
anyways.
of good like home dogs in these 2 weeks, but there's nobody there. There's nobody there.
They've won 15 straight at home. Cal has too. I mean, that's
I mean, listen, I like it.
They got to win over UCLA. You know, they got to win over UCLA too this year.
K-State as well.
Yeah,
on the road.
Yeah. So they got a couple wins. You know,
listen, Madsen's a good coach. It's the former state. That guy's a good coach. He's been around.
Yeah.
He can ball, that guy.
The points for sure. The outright. Again, I'd love the fans more there for the outright.
Winnersandwhiners.com. Sean Higgs. Thanks, Sean.
Arvil Reese at 8%. I got to tell you right now, I have no idea who that is or if they're playing a joke on me, Joe.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting
Who is that?
here, but I have no idea.
You need to know?
But no idea. But don't you have to pick the Heisman winner, Don? Isn't that like the rule of thumb if you're going to take a quarterback? Is he not the best quarterback?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Already been doing some work in golf, doing some work in racing. And he said, dial into this call. And they put up this deck about what TGL is going to be. This is like 4 years ago at this point. And I was like, how have I not seen this on social? This is the Tiger's involved, Rory's involved. There's a screen. I was like, this is crazy. We were all texting each other like, is this for real? And that's really where it started.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
My problem with the Raiders is I think they're one of the worst teams in NFL history right now.
In history?
Joe,
Cleveland had some bad teams.
Joe, they had 75 yards against the Eagles. And it
That
wasn't
was
surprising.
Yeah. I mean, outside of Brock Bowers, what do they have? Trey Tucker, Ashton Genty in the offensive line.
This moment of the Raiders, they just feel so lifeless.
Need a quarterback.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League are now official partners with Kalshi. It takes effect this week. Each side can use the other's intellectual property for co-marketing purposes, and Kalshi will be promoted during home games at the United Center and on Blackhawks broadcasts. First of its kind, certainly probably not the last as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Again, check out his website, Winners and Winers, where Sean's home is. Sean Higgs, winnersandwhiners.com. So we got another 3rd and 1 as Goofy Tennessee ends up.
They should have let him score on that last play, Scott.
Yeah,
now I'm not for letting teams score, but you're out of timeouts, and it's a reset of first downs now.
That's the 6-yard line with the 1
screwed, like,
left.
Like, I'm praying Illinois scores a touchdown, but why would they? Do they not want to risk a field goal attempt, Scott? Yeah, they say, you know what? We're not screwing around with a blocked field goal or something. Just punch it freaking in.
Yeah,
but they don't really have to. There's a $1:44 left, and Tennessee don't have any timeouts left. Like, that's on that last play. Tennessee should have just pushed the guy into the end zone.
Yeah. Yep. And I think the Illinois kicker is really good. Not positive, but I think he's really good, right? Yeah. So that would be.
And Illinois are playing for the field goal. The quarterback took a knee.
Took a knee.
Wow. So it's going to get to 59. Son of a bitch. The total was 61.5. 61.5. Oh, God.
Yeah.
And it started off so slow. The second half exploded.
Yeah. Son of a gun. They should have let him score when the guy ripped off that 15, 13-yard run. That's when they really should have just, all right, you know what, give me 2 minutes for it,
but at some point you have to say they're gonna just do what they did. Like, this is once again game management where someone's got to tell Hypo, listen, they're going to take a knee coach and they're going to bleed the last $1:40. Like, we're better off on those last 2 plays. That's when you got to tell the kids, push them in the end zone. Like, don't even let them take a knee. Like, get them and throw them in the end zone type thing. You know what I mean?
Pick them up.
Take his jersey and push him that way. Like, you know?
Yeah. I mean, otherwise,
it's sort of like fouling before 3-point shot, Scott. Like, you got to, like, desperate measures. Like, you know what I mean? No, we don't want you to do this. So, like, we're going to foul you. And Illinois are smart enough. Brent Bielema has been around the block. I bet you some modern coaches, Scott, would just punch it in right now, and this game would be whatever. They'd be like, no, we're going to score. Bielema's smart enough and old enough. He's like, no, we're taking a knee here, you know?
Yeah. Watching some of these bowl games, some of these coaches are just clueless. I mean, just clueless when it comes to clock management and game management. It's just like you look at them, you're like, what are you doing? What are you, what? It's just crazy stuff with timeouts.
What the hell? What the hell was McVay doing last night in the Rams throwing bombs late in the game?
Yeah. There was a game the other day. I forget who it was. The team was leading and they had the ball. They didn't have to run a play before the 2-minute warning, and the dope ran a play. I'm like, what are you doing? So, by the way,
Today, Coastal Carolina, Scott, had like 45 seconds before the half, and they didn't run a play either. They had 2 timeouts left. Chase Daniels, like, I don't know what the hell this guy's doing. Right? The same thing.
Wow.
There's a lot of interim coaches and weird. But I tell you what, if you're Illinois, I'm not a fan of this, Scott. I understand not winning the ball back to Tennessee, but if I'm Illinois, I would have said, all right, guys, kill the clock, and then on 3rd and 4th down, we're going to score. We'll live with it. Like, if we have a touchdown lead with freaking 18 seconds left and we can't win, then God bless Tennessee, right? Seriously. Now, Scott, you're putting everything on a snap, a hold, a block, a kick. Like, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of putting it all in one play.
Yeah, me neither. I would have bled it down. Same thing. Bleed it down, but then a 3rd down, you run a play with 30 seconds left. And listen, you said it. If you can't hold on to a lead, then whatever. It's a bowl game. So versus having some kicker come in and worry about the snap and the hold.
These modern kids are tall. They're getting better at it. We see it all the time.
Yeah. By the way, last night's game, I don't know if you caught this or not, and I was that close to bringing it up. But at halftime, Kirk Cousins' rushing total, Gabe, was a half. He had 1 yard. They were giving you under a half a yard at plus money. And I was like, if they're leading, he's probably going to take a couple of knees. And, that could actually cash. It was like plus 140, 150. It wasn't like a lot of plus, but it was there, right? So whatever. We had so many other bets. So that final play, when they went to review, there was technically, I don't know if you watched the very end of it, but there should have been 1 second on the clock, but they just said, whatever, Falcons ball, what's the big difference? It just goes to show you how every single play in an NFL game, no matter what the circumstances, affects a bet. If they ran a play, they would have had Kirk Cousins. Yeah,
we
Kirk Cousins would have taken a knee, and we would have had it.
The Illinois alumni defeat Tennessee 30-28. The Big Ten is now 6-0.
Wow, they get the cover as upset winners.
Marvel Reese at 8%. I got to tell you right now, I have no idea who that is or if they're playing a joke on me, Joe.
Yeah, yeah, that's going to be interesting
Who is that?
here, but I have no idea.
You need to know?
But no idea. But don't you have to pick the Heisman winner, Don? Isn't that like the rule of thumb if you're going to take a quarterback? Is he not the best quarterback?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Already been doing some work in golf, doing some work in racing. And he said, dial into this call. And they put up this deck about what TGL is going to be. This is like 4 years ago at this point. And I was like, how have I not seen this on social? This is the Tiger's involved, Rory's involved. There's a screen. I was like, this is crazy. We were all texting each other like, is this for real? And that's really where it started.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
My problem with the Raiders is I think they're one of the worst teams in NFL history right now.
In history?
Joe,
Cleveland had some bad teams.
Joe, they had 75 yards against the Eagles. And it
That
wasn't
was
surprising.
Yeah. I mean, outside of Brock Bowers, what do they have? Trey Tucker, Ashton Genty in the offensive line.
This moment of the Raiders, they just feel so lifeless.
Need a quarterback.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League are now official partners with Kalshi. It takes effect this week. Each side can use the other's intellectual property for co-marketing purposes, and Kalshi will be promoted during home games at the United Center and on Blackhawks broadcasts. First of its kind, certainly probably not the last as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. So one football game, well, really two, one this afternoon, is in the books. Illinois kicks the field goal at the buzzer. They win 30-28, so they win as underdogs outright. Game goes under, depending on what number, maybe if you put it in like 2 weeks ago, you may have gotten it over. But for today, that goes under because they don't score the touchdown. So late night pickoff time. Gabe and I have 3-4 more plays for you to take a peek at. So I'll start, Gabe, with the little NBA. I know this has got sucker absolutely written all over it. I get it, but you know what? J.J. Redick read the team. The Riot Act called out his players for not trying this, that, what have you. I'm getting 2.5 at home. Detroit's a good team. Don't get me wrong. First place team, actually, in the, believe it or not, in the Eastern Conference. But I'll take the Lakers plus 2.5 at home against a lot of teams, including the Detroit Pistons tonight.
I'm going to take a pick that Scott talked about earlier, and we'll get to it quickly because these games go off the board here. But Colorado State playing at home, one of the most dominant home NCAA basketball teams in the country. They've owned Nevada as of late too. They've beaten them 4 straight times. I think it's going to be close. I think the total is too light as well here, guys. I think both these teams are going to get into the 70s. At least one of the teams into the mid-70s, the other one into the high 60s, which will get us over the 140.5, 141. So let's go Colorado State on the money line. It's actually come down, though, Scott. Colorado State were bigger favorites earlier in the day, and I see it's like 1.5 now, actually. So some people are liking Nevada here, but I don't. Give me Colorado State, and let's go over the number as well in that game.
All right, I'll go to a game we talked about as well, Cal and Louisville. I'll grab Cal plus the 8.5. Their best start in 65 seasons. They're number 48 in the net rankings. They have a win over UCLA, Kansas State as well. So they got a couple of halfway decent wins. They've won 9 straight heading into this game and 15 straight at home where this game is. I'll take 8.5. I like you said earlier, I think they can win this thing outright, but I'll certainly take the 8.5.
Yeah, Cal are Cal are a good basketball team this year. They've got quality wins. Scott talked about their dominance at home. They're on a streak right now. It's the best start in 65 years. And the ACC, you see it in football and you see it in basketball as well. The Big Ten teams have sort of adjusted to it a little bit more. Teams that go out west in the ACC they don't do well, right? Stanford, Cal, even football, and they're not even that good at football. And teams really struggle They're not used to going to California on a road trip, right? And I don't care how many students are going to be in the arena and any of this type of stuff. Louisville, they're just basically a three-point shooting team, guys. They take the most threes, they hit the most threes. But they haven't played on the road very much. They played 2 true road games this year, and they went 15-71. That's right, 71 three-point shots they took in 2 road games. So they're going to bomb away, and I don't think the shots are going to fall for them. And, oh, yeah, by the way, Cal hit 40% of their three-point shots too. So I like Cal. Like I said, I think they can win the game outright.
How about this one? Over Pacific and Loyola Marymount, 138.5. Pacific is a decent under team, 9-2 under their last 11. Marymount's 4-2 over their last 6. Why are we going to go with the over, Scott? How about a 10-0 over last 10 meetings run? So these two teams, for whatever reason, score some points. 10-0 is good enough for me. Give me the over 138.5. Pacific, Loyola Marymount.
My last pick here, Scott, will be an NHL game. And, I don't know. This is almost like opposite picks or something, or Captain Contrarian, I should call it, because it's one of these. Like, why would you bet on the Canucks tonight? Like, they've proven the history enough of what they do. They win on the road and they lose at home. But it's getting to be kind of stupid now, Scott. Like, they're 12-8-2 on the road. They're 4-11-1 at home.
1-8 their last 9.
How can you be 12-8 on the road? And, that's good. That's not easy to do. And you're a Western Conference team, and you're 12-8 on the road. It's like, wow, you guys are a pretty good team. No, we're 4-11 at home. Why? Like, how? Like, at some point, show some effing balls, guys. Somebody start a fight early. Somebody score an early goal. Somebody get the crowd into it and not want to hate you because they're paying big money to watch you win 4 times so far this year, and it's nearly New Year's Eve, right? So now you get the Philadelphia Flyers. The Canucks played last night in Seattle, whatever. They're actually 5-3 in 8 back-to-backs this year. So number one, whatever, back-to-back, okay. Seattle, Vancouver is literally it took them longer to get from the arena to the airport than it did in the air back to Vancouver. It's like a 33-minute flight type thing. So the travel's not an issue. And, it's Rick Tocchet's return to Vancouver. They just played last week. Philadelphia beat them 5-2. If you have any nut sacks at all, Vancouver, you're going to freaking not lose to this guy again. Got to win this game tonight. Give me the Canucks plus 115 as home dogs.
Yeah, getting odds, no less, at home. So the boys in Vegas finally flipped. 1-8, though, their last 9 home games. Amazing. I'll throw one more college basketball at you. Another over, Gonzaga, San Diego, over 160.5. I've been telling Zags, one of our automatic over teams. They're 7-2-1 over this season. They beat the snot out of San Diego. Gonzaga's got some crazy numbers that are just mind-boggling on how they just dominated this conference, which they're no longer going to be in after this year. They're going to the makeshift big Pac-12. But they've beaten this team 49 straight times. 49. This after beating, I think, Pacific 50 straight times. I mean, do you realize how often they play? They play twice a year, maybe 3 times a year if you're playing in the conference.
This has been their problem.
I mean,
it's been their problem.
Crazy.
The lack of competition has cost them come NCAA tournament time. They're not used to playing in close games, right? Because they blow these teams out all the time. At least they're finally moving conferences. They've had bigger offers. How the Big 12 wanted them to join the Big 12 and say, don't worry about football. You can just be a Big 12 basketball team. A lot of these programs, they're smart actually, though, Scott. If Gonzaga's in the Big 12, it's not such a cool thing anymore, like when they're losing 12 games a year, right? It has this special niche to it now, the home games, and we're special, but I've always thought it's ridiculous. Like, how many times are you guys going to beat Loyola Marymount by 50?
I mean, look,
are you getting better by doing this? Does it help you?
Yeah. They beat Pepperdine 50 straight times, and they've beaten San Diego tonight 49-2. Their last 51 meetings.
Yeah, St. Mary's are the only ones that have punched back a little bit.
Yeah, and that's only recently over the last 3-4 years.
Pepperdine beat them once, Scott, 6 years ago or something. And Gonzaga have beaten them by like 80 every time since. It's like they've remembered it and like just murdered them ever since. Like, oh, how dare you beat us once?
Yeah. At the Jenny Craig Center, by the way, tonight. Steve Lavin, former everything head coach, is now coaching San Diego, which I didn't
like
realize.
Steve Lavin. Nice guy, Steve Lavin.
Yeah.
I've had him on the show a bunch of times. I tell you what, though, the Toreros at the Jenny Craig Center, we've had some fun at that expense, but they've actually been a little bit scrappier this year, man, than in past years.
Yeah. 6-7.
I know, because I bet against them a few times. Yeah, and they've screwed me by covering.
5-1. 5-1 against the spread, last 6 at home.
Yeah.
So, but I'll go with the over 160.5 and just not worry about laying like 30 points, 29.5, I think it is.
Here's the thing, Scott. Punt on the first drive for USC. So
there you go.
At least it didn't eat 8 minutes or something, but the theme could continue here. USC Trojans don't get anything on their first drive, and they punt the ball to TCU.
Wow. First half total, they still offer it on FanDuel anyway, 26.5. I think it was 27.5 to start the game. But yeah, it's so weird. With all these games, first half, under.
It's almost scary now, though. You figure, oh, man, we've got to have just sort of a clean over coming, right? One of these games is going to, boom, touchdown, like off the top up. Here we go again. Here we go again. It's one drive, though. Let's see what happens. It's been one drive. And like I said, at least it was quick. It was just like, it wasn't like it didn't eat up 6-7 minutes or something. It took 2 minutes off the clock.
All right, in-game live continues here on the grid.
Arvil Reese at 8%. I got to tell you right now, I have no idea who that is or if they're playing a Joe Bowman joke.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting
Who is that?
here, but I have no idea.
You need to know?
But no idea. But don't you have to pick the Heisman winner, Don? Isn't that like the rule of thumb if you're going to take a quarterback? Is he not the best quarterback?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Already been doing some work in golf, doing some work in racing. And he said, dial into this call. And they put up this deck about what TGL is going to be. This is like 4 years ago at this point. And I was like, how have I not seen this on social? This is the Tiger's involved, Rory's involved. There's a screen. I was like, this is crazy. We were all texting each other like, is this for real? And that's really where it started.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
My problem with the Raiders is I think they're one of the worst teams in NFL history right now.
In history?
Joe,
Cleveland had some bad teams.
Joe, they had 75 yards against the Eagles. And it wasn't surprising.
Outside of Brock Bowers, what do they have? Trey Tucker, Ashton Genty in the offensive line.
This moment of the Raiders, they just feel so lifeless.
Need a quarterback.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League are now official partners with Kalshi. It takes effect this week. Each side can use the other's intellectual property for co-marketing purposes, and Kalshi will be promoted during home games at the United Center and on Blackhawks broadcasts. First of its kind, certainly probably not the last as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe. So we got a little college football, a little college basketball, NBA, NHL. So TCU has the ball. They're in a timeout. This game's going to take forever, boy. If they're already in a timeout in between the first and second possession, holy fudge. This is going to be a long one.
TCU are moving the ball a little bit now. They got 7 yards. Let's see, they're running the ball.
Okay.
Oh,
all right,
boy.
that's good.
It's another thing, too. The TCU's quarterback, guys, what's the kid name? Eels. He used to be at Wake Forest. You sort of remember him. He's been around forever. He's a 6-year senior. He's been around forever, the guy. But was it Seals? Yeah, whatever. Scott, if you're a 6-year senior and you started once, it means you're not very good. I don't want to be a jerk, but I'm just going to call it up for what it is.
Yeah, it's he's no
there.
offense if you're the backup at TCU. It's
no,
also
it's more one of these.
The
quarterback at TCU was the team. He's the star. Hoover, he's like the number one prospect on the transfer portal type deal, like one of the top QBs in the transfer portal. So it kind of threw him for a loop, and I like it. You throw the bone to the kid who's been there, and the practice warrior, Scott. The kid's been showing up for years and doing his thing, standing on the sidelines. All right, here's your shot, kid. You're playing against USC.
Yeah.
But my point is, they're handing the ball off a lot. That was my point. You're playing, but we still have our running back, right? So we're gonna hand the ball off to him. So
yeah. He went Vandy. He was a starter at Vandy.
Vandy,
for a couple
my
years.
bad. Wake Forest, Vandy. Vandy was that bad before. Same crap. You know what I'm talking about.
It was Vandy when Vandy. It was when Vandy was Vandy, which is why he's no longer there.
I always confused the two of them too. Wake Forest and Vandy. They used to have the same uniforms basically too, same colors.
Yeah.
And same crappiness. You know what I mean? I know Vandy. It's kind of weird. Hey, Nick Saban said it. And sorry, Scott, I was going to say about Vandy guys being ingrained in our head. Earlier this year, he really pissed Vanderbilt off. Nick Saban said, when you're coaching in the SEC, there really are no free passes. And he went through every stadium. And he goes, Mississippi, they got the Mississippi State, they got the Cowbells, and, they're kind of scrappy, and they get into it. He's going off about how, and he goes, I'll be honest. He goes, the only game that we never were worried about was going to Vanderbilt. He said, it's the only place that's not intimidating is Vanderbilt. He goes, that was always easy. And people are like, what?
He's actually pretty good. He's one of those guys that is a victim of, there's too many men on the dais there. More of Nick is better, but I think he gets a little intimidated with some of the guys, but he's actually very subtly funny, and he's very open. He's very open. He like you said, he doesn't pull punches when he has a thought. I actually like him. He's a curmudgeon, no two ways about it. There's an Dolphin fan that likes him, but he's actually pretty good at TV.
I knew this already from years ago. I used to do the World Junior Championships. And it was at the Super Bowl location every year. And they'd always have, and it was all-stars from Mexico, Canada, Japan, etc., all over the world. And they would play against the all-stars from the state of wherever the Super Bowl was. So when it was in Louisiana, this is long ago enough, he was the coach of LSU. Same thing. Somebody told me, you want to meet Nick Saban? I was like, I don't meet Nick Saban. I'm scared of Nick Saban. You know what I mean? I was younger. I was all drunk. I was like, and this guy told me, he goes, dude, Nick Saban swears more than you do. And he started laughing. And it was a football coach I was a buddy with. He goes, Saban's one of the funniest guys in the world. I'm telling you. So Saban at this banquet, Scott. All right. So all the countries are there. Saban's the lead speaker. And Saban goes, it's amazing how football has progressed around the world. And he goes, Germany. He goes, these guys are freaking efficient. He starts typecasting every country, but he's got a punchline at the end. And then he goes, in Japan, you got to watch out. Just you got to watch out Hiroshima, those surprise plays with Japanese. Bro, it's like a Red Fox roast. He started roasting all the countries, but funnily. You know what I mean? Right. After a couple of drinks, and he talked about the USA, and people's jaws were open. They were like, is Nick Saban drunk? And I didn't know Nick Saban had Red Fox type humor. He's got dark humor in real life, bro. But people in the media, you sort of become a character. People, what they think you are. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he puts on that face, but in real life, he's not really like that. Belichick is. Belichick's not a funny guy in real life. He's not people will tell you, no, he's not he doesn't talk, he mumbles. Nick Saban's a funny guy, sort of like Bobby Knight. He's got that Bobby Knight thing about him, Nick Saban.
Right.
Right. And and he's really good with Pat McAfee because Pat really you ever think that Nick Saban would be swearing on ESPN? Yeah, I mean, he's really loosened Saban up, where Saban tells funny stories and interesting stuff. Saban's one of the Saban, like you said, he's really good on TV. He is. He's good at what he does. There's no dispute.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I wish there were less of them. I wish they would give him more airtime, to just let him, that's the problem with a lot of these guys. They're funny, like Gronkowski is hilarious, right? But I think he's awful on TV because they don't use him the right way. They've taken him out of his character and they start having him analyze games and stuff. I don't want Gronk analyzing games. I want him to be funny and make, funny, but it's hard to do that.
He's not bad at it, though.
10 to 15 seconds.
All right, USC made the field goal 40-yarder, which is something, Scott. A lot of these kids miss.
We'll take it.
yeah, exactly. We'll take
Get the ball rolling a little bit. We'll take it.
I got USC. I played a Louisiana Tech moneyline parlay with USC, and I just laid the points with USC. But I was surprised. Yeah, I don't really pay attention, or I'm on the air or whatever, and I'm flicking around.
For the most part, but...
Yeah, but I caught Gronk the other day, and I was like, oh, this is Gronk actually doing the game for real, where he's not in his Gronk bitch shtick, right? They were like, yeah, like you said, he's an analyst, and he was good for, like, the offense. Like, he really was. Like, so you got me fired up a little bit. He was like, man, that's a soft play. Like, he called out a tight end. And he basically said, when I played, I ran you over. He goes, you got to run him over. like you got, like, he basically got like, man, these guys are bad. And, like, I liked it in a sense that Gronk was calling him out. He was like, man, these guys are soft. And, like, I thought he wasn't bad. Brady's gotten a lot better, too, with his delivery and stuff. Brady's improving on a weekly basis. But people flipped out about Brady, like, after 1 week for no reason.
Yeah. Was Gronk doing the game or he was doing it in studio?
He was in the booth.
Oh, see, that's See, I like that. You're not living.
He was in the booth during the game. He was in the booth.
Yeah. That's where he excels. All right, more coming up.
Arvil Reese at 8%. I got to tell you right now, I have no idea who that is or if they're playing a Joe Bowman joke.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Who is that?
Here, but I have no idea.
You need to know?
But no idea. But don't you have to pick the Heisman winner, Don? Isn't that like the rule of thumb if you're going to take a quarterback? Is he not the best quarterback?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Already been doing some work in golf, doing some work in racing. And he said, dial into this call. And they put up this deck about what TGL is going to be. This is like 4 years ago at this point. And I was like, how have I not seen this on social? This is the Tiger's involved, Rory's involved. There's a screen. I was like, this is crazy. We were all texting each other like, is this for real? And that's really where it started.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
My problem with the Raiders is I think they're one of the worst teams in NFL history right now.
In history?
Joe,
Cleveland had some bad teams.
Joe, they had 75 yards against the Eagles. And it wasn't surprising.
I mean outside of Brock Bowers, what do they have? Trey Tucker, Ashton Genty in the offensive line.
This moment of the Raiders, they just feel so lifeless.
Need a quarterback.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League are now official partners with Kalshi. It takes effect this week. Each side can use the other's intellectual property for co-marketing purposes, and Kalshi will be promoted during home games at the United Center and on Blackhawks broadcasts. First of its kind, certainly probably not the last as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2. So just going through a whole slew of college football for tomorrow. A bunch of games, actually, that'll be on, obviously, before Gabe and I come on it.
They snuck up on us, these ones.
Yeah,
some good ones.
They did. I tell you, I almost forgot there were 3 today. I was so used to having the one yesterday at 2:00, and then I saw another one today at 2:00, and I just kind of like, okay, that's it. And I thought these games were part of tomorrow's schedule, but as it turns out, obviously not. So we had 3 today, so not too bad. Yeah, we finally, between this game right now, USC and TCU, and all the games tomorrow, I think from this point on, you're going to get really good football games. Hopefully they take it a little more seriously.
Well, there's real teams now, except on Friday, which is the schedule's all bizarro world, Scott, right? It's so spread out and stuff. This is tomorrow, New Year's Day. New Year's Eve day is sort of like what New Year's Day used to be, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
The Outback Bowl and this bowl, and and those type of things. But yeah, tomorrow afternoon, guys, we're focused on the playoffs tomorrow night that have also kind of crept up on us without much hype because they spread it out so long and they lose all their momentum. They've done everything wrong. But yeah, we got Diego Pavia playing what could be his last college football game against Iowa. What a contrast in style, Scott. Loudmouth jackass versus Iowa.
Yeah.
I just love, Kirk Ferentz hates Pavia, what he stands for. I just sort of see, I could guarantee you, man, Iowa privately, they make sure tapes aren't running, but they're going to be like, you know what? We're not losing to this gold chain dude. No. Iowa getting 5. Duke coming off that big ACC conference championship win. Arizona State don't have any players, Scott. I think Duke are going to roll them, actually. ASU are in a bad spot. And you got Michigan and Texas, which is a blue blood special.
That's not bad.
And you're Nebraska and Utah tomorrow night, but Whittingham's gone, right? So Utah are 14 to the Huskers tomorrow night in Vegas.
Yeah. I don't quite get that.
Or afternoon, excuse me.
Yeah, it's tomorrow afternoon, and you got the late one, which is the
so
playoff
we'll have a
game,
bunch
Ohio
of games at once, actually, Scott, for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not spread out. I'm looking now. I didn't really realize. That's sort of whatever. It's kind of crept up all this stuff. I live game by game. We're worried about the college basketball games right now. You know what I mean? But if you look at the start times, noon Eastern, Iowa Vandy, 2:00 Arizona State Duke, 3:00 Michigan Texas, 3:30 Nebraska Utah. So we're gonna have worlds colliding. There'll be 4 football games going on at once tomorrow at one point.
Yeah. It's like the college basketball tournament on a Saturday. You have the one early game that you get rid of that one. They all kind of combine and play on top of each other. You had a couple of games in which teasers can come into play, right? And I generally don't like do teasers in college football. NFL, I love them. College football, not as much, but we do throw these phrases around, and I wonder if people understand quite what we're talking about. Got a lot of new gamblers out there, so every once in a while, Gabe and I will take a moment here to kind of explain some of the phrases we throw out there, and this will be one of them. Little Sports Academy 101. Yeah, how about that? Like that, right? So what's a teaser, Scott? Teaser is you get to move the line. And generally, there are 9-point and 10-point teasers, but it's 2025, and we got computers, and now there's 6.5, there's 7, there's 7.5. There's all kind. But the basic teaser is you move a line 6 points up or down. In the case, we'll use the Texas line because that's a good one. There's 6.5 against Michigan tomorrow, so you could grab Texas. Forget the 6.5. You could grab them minus just a half. Issue is you got to put a second team in there. You could use it as an over/under as well. You could take an over or an under and raise it or lower it 6 points. So if the classic teaser tomorrow, Gabe, would be Texas laying 0.5 point, and then Vandy bump them from -5.5 to +0.5. And there's your 6-point teaser, and you got to have both sides win. That's what a teaser is. And like I said, there are 10-point teasers, and then generally there are 6-point teasers. So
I don't, as Scott said, college teasers are not good, right?
Yeah.
People don't really tease basketball very much. Ironically enough, NCAA tournament time, college basketball teasers are good because the games are all so damn close. But with that being stated, college football, NFL numbers are sharp. You brought up the amount of games, basically more than half the games in the NFL are one-score games, right? Decided by one score or less. So think if you're getting to add 6 or 7 points to the point spread. College football is different. There's a ton of blowouts in college football. There's really not that many close games. So the teasers really don't come into play very often. And, the numbers are so varied in college. So don't play college teasers. But NFL teasers are good. Some people say they're not, though, Scott, but I think they're okay.
I like them. Adam Kaufman coming up next here in the Grid.
Arvel Reese at 8%. I got to tell you right now, I have no idea who that is or if they're playing a joke on me, Joe.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting
Who is that?
here, but I have no idea.
You need to know?
But no idea. But don't you have to pick the Heisman winner, Don? Isn't that like the rule of thumb if you're going to take a quarterback? Is he not the best quarterback?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Already been doing some work in golf, doing some work in racing. And he said, dial into this call. And they put up this deck about what TGL is going to be. This is like 4 years ago at this point. And I was like, how have I not seen this on social? This is the Tiger's involved, Rory's involved. There's a screen. I was like, this is crazy. We were all texting each other like, is this for real? And that's really where it started.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
My problem with the Raiders is I think they're one of the worst teams in NFL history right now.
In history?
Joe,
Cleveland had some bad teams.
Joe, they had 75 yards against the Eagles. And it
That
wasn't
was
surprising.
Yeah.
It wasn't
outside of Brock
surprising.
Bowers, what do they have? Trey Tucker, Ashton Genty in the offensive line.
This moment of the Raiders, they just feel so lifeless.
Need a quarterback.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League are now official partners with Kalshi. It takes effect this week. Each side can use the other's intellectual property for co-marketing purposes, and Kalshi will be promoted during home games at the United Center and on Blackhawks broadcasts. First of its kind, certainly probably not the last as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. So a little Sports Academy 101. We'll do that, if not every night, but, every couple of nights we'll throw another phrase out there, give an explanation as people do ask from time to time, what's that mean and what does that do and anything else. We assume everyone are great experienced gamblers, but that's obviously not the case with new guys gambling all the time. But let's welcome in a guy who's been doing a little gambling, no doubt, for a little while. Our good buddy, SportsGrid host Adam Kaufman. You see it here all the time on the Grid. Talk a little NBA, little NFL preview. What's going on, Adam? How are you tonight?
Yeah, maybe a little too much of the gambling, honestly. Yeah, but hey, it's the holidays, right? How are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's not gambling if you're winning, right, Adam? That's what it comes down to. It's
like
gambling when you lose.
Maybe a little too much their game.
Yeah.
NBA tonight, boy.
I'm not the one to talk to Adam about moderation, buddy. So I'm the wrong person.
You, Cam Stewart, it's a volume over variance, right? Just fire away, keep clicking, keep hitting the button.
Well, I just figure I don't think about the future. I live in the now. we're talking about like the football game start times tomorrow. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I'm at Colorado State worries right now. Not a good start for Colorado State. Not worried about the start times of the football games. Just a quick take on this, though.
Yeah.
The college football playoffs have spoiled everything in a sense. And how we were talking earlier about how the Rose Bowl tickets are $90. Dude, like it literally costs you like $125 to park on someone's lawn in Pasadena. Like they're basically giving tickets away for the Rose Bowl here right now. And we only know it's the Rose Bowl because it's the Rose Bowl. Like if I ask you guys right now, all right, what game is Miami and Ohio State tomorrow?
Yeah.
Right.
Who knows?
Is it a Cotton Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, like whatever? Like, I know the Sugar Bowl is Ole Miss and Georgia. Just by chance, I know that. But, like, the games used to mean something. Now it's like, I don't know. No one even knows what it is. Like,
No,
is it
to your
a Fiesta
point, I mean,
Bowl tomorrow night? The Cotton Bowl? What is it? Like, no
yeah,
one
to your
knows.
point, a friend of mine who lives in South Florida texted me earlier today. He was going to the game down there. He said it was $40 get-in price. He said nobody cared. Just absolutely laughable.
What, for the Oregon Texas Tech game, eh? And that's an awesome game. $40.
Wow.
Right.
Great.
$40. I mean, I had this conversation with a friend of mine earlier today. It's just unfortunately, with the expansion of the college football playoff, going from the 4 games to 12, and who knows, eventually maybe we get to 24 or 32. I don't even know where this thing ultimately ends as they try their best to replicate the feel of March Madness in college basketball. It's completely watered down the bowl games. Now, part of the issue, obviously, in the past, several years, like going back to when I was in college 20 years ago. Like I remember when Syracuse, when I was there, made the Insight.com Bowl. There were always too many bowls, guys. The point is, though, as some took on more importance, and obviously there were the more iconic ones, as you touched on, some of those got kind of wedged into the college football playoff so we could attempt to give them meaning again. But others that still, at least in name, are a little bit substantial, the teams participating, or maybe depending on what happens with the transfer portal, coaches leaving, guys sitting out to get ready for the draft, whatever it is, just the importance has waned in such an incredible degree that I don't know how you put the toothpaste back in the tube, so to speak. These games are just so incredibly unimportant to the general public. You can put them on every day, and I know football's king and we love to watch it, and it's great. Oh, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, great. It's okay. When's the college football playoff resume? That's not till Friday, and then Saturday. All right, that wake me up when we get to the quarterfinal. And it's unfortunate.
They're not gonna have a winner until the 19th. They won't have a winner until January 19th. Like,
which
it just takes
absurd.
too long.
Honestly, who needs the college football season to last that long? At that point, we're already into like third round of our mock drafts, right? We're already ready for the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, they've made a lot of
they do the same thing.
Head-to-head NFL, spreading it out. For the record, though, it's the Cotton Bowl tomorrow night. So it's that.
Yes, it is
another thing, too. It's the Cotton Bowl, but it's not really the Cotton Bowl. They're not playing at the Cotton Bowl. It's at Dallas Cowboys, Jerry's World.
Yeah.
They do the same thing with college basketball, guys. You have this great NCAA season and tournament and everything else, and then what do? They bury the championship game at 9:00 on a Monday night. Where half the people on the East Coast.
That's always been there, at least. Like, they
that's to accommodate the West Coast and the network partners and make sure you get everybody home from work. I mean, that's always just been.
You don't do it on a Monday night. You do it on a Sunday afternoon, so you can have a Super Bowl type of party.
But it's been,
on a Friday.
It's been this way for
Sunday.
years.
You could argue the Super Bowl should be on Saturday, right? Like,
yeah, you could. It's just not. It's not the way it's worked. It's semifinals Saturday, championship game Monday in prime time. That's just nobody's going to put it on a Sunday afternoon. I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying, but it's just not.
I guarantee you, ratings would triple. They would if you put the NCAA championship game on a Sunday afternoon, they would triple the ratings they get on a Monday.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
Oh, yes, they would. Yes,
let's call CBS.
Yeah. All right.
Then they would do it, Scott. You know what I mean? Like,
there's so much tied up into that game. They have to have the people. They don't want people leaving Saturday when their team loses Friday. That's the problem. They want to have these people come, stay Saturday for the game. No one's going home Saturday night. You're going to stay in the city and you stay over and then you leave, Sunday. If you had it Friday, they would all leave Friday night. And that's the problem. And all these cities would be left empty. That's what I've been told. That's the real reason. They want these people that have been traveling all over the country to actually stay there. Otherwise, they'll get up and leave. So, but whatever. How about NBA tonight, Adam? We got nothing but overs going on. Not that there's a lot of games, but still, Celtics down 1 in the second quarter, 38-37, and then you got the Grizzlies 90-85, basically just starting the second half. Over-unders of 254.5 and 247.5. How crazy are those?
Yeah,
numbers?
Big totals. We got 2 more games late night tonight, obviously, probably after you guys even sign off. And, as far as kind of what to do with these things, like you said, I mean, continue to hit on overs, it feels like, for sure. I mean, in the case of this Celtics game, I'm sure you guys talked about it, but the Jazz got off to such a fast, hot start. You just lean into, okay, here's the buy point for the Celtics. You don't have to worry about that pregame 8.5, and you can kind of lean into it because honestly, I mean, Boston's coming off a disappointing loss in Portland. It's playing well against bad competition overall. It's already lost to the Jazz earlier this season. This is a train wreck of a team. You can't get swept here by Utah. You need to take care of business there in their house. And so, yeah, will the Celtics play with their food a little bit and it's a close game down to the wire? That wouldn't surprise me at all. But ultimately, we should see a record-setting night out of Jaylen Brown. He's already tied Larry Bird with 9 straight 30-plus point games going into this one. I think he's already in double figures here in this contest or close to it. So expect him to get 30-plus again in this one and have that mark all by himself as he continues to, shine with Jason Tatum's sideline. A little bit later on tonight, I think probably a good spot for Luka, Wemby in his contest as well. I think these guys are, in situations ultimately where it's getting a little confusing, I guess, with the Lakers sort of personnel in and out. And LeBron, is he going to be more of a facilitator? So you lean into his, like, I like to invest in the RA with LeBron, rebounds and assists more than the points, because you don't know as he gets up there in age if he's going to be more of a facilitator. That being said, if I'm not mistaken, a little narrative street, I think today is LeBron's 41st birthday. So there is that, if you want to look at him going up trying to steal the show. But yeah, nothing big in the NBA for me tonight. I mean, interesting game, obviously, against one of the teams that is threatening to make noise there, currently leading the Eastern Conference. But, do people really believe in the Pistons? Are they legitimate? Remains to be seen. But the spread is too narrow. I don't really want to invest in a side. I'd rather just have some fun with some LeBron props.
Not bad. It is his birthday today. There's a bunch of guys on the podcast that, they usually always play over, player props. You're right. I'd be more comfortable with him doing points, rebounds, and assists than I would actually just points. But little birthday boy. Him and Tiger Woods both today's birthdays.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, 50,
he
right?
doesn't have the juice to do anything about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We'll talk more NFL stuff with Adam when we come back.
Arvel Reese at 8%. I got to tell you right now, I have no idea who that is or if they're playing a Joe Bowman joke.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Who is that?
Here, but I have no idea.
You even know?
But no idea. But don't you have to pick the Heisman winner, Don? Isn't that like the rule of thumb? If you're going to take a quarterback, is he not the best quarterback?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Already been doing some work in golf, doing some work in racing. And he said, dial into this call. And they put up this deck about what TGL is going to be. This is like 4 years ago at this point. And I was like, how have I not seen this on social? This is the Tiger's involved, Rory's involved. There's a screen. I was like, this is crazy. We were all texting each other like, is this for real? And that's really where it started.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
My problem with the Raiders is I think they're one of the worst teams in NFL history right now.
In history?
Joe,
Cleveland had some bad teams.
Joe, they had 75 yards against the Eagles. And it wasn't surprising.
Yeah. Outside of Brock Bowers, what do they have? Trey Tucker, Ashton Genty in the offensive line.
This moment of the Raiders, they just feel so lifeless.
Need a quarterback.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League are now official partners with Kalshi. It takes effect this week. Each side can use the other's intellectual property for co-marketing purposes, and Kalshi will be promoted during home games at the United Center and on Blackhawks broadcasts. First of its kind, certainly probably not the last as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe talking to Adam Kaufman, SportsGrid host. You see it here all the time, including tomorrow, as I just found out. Tomorrow afternoon, taking you through some of the college football games. So, I'll update the college football 3-0. End of one. I mean, it's listen, you couldn't still get
into the second.
4 touchdowns. We're in the second. Yeah,
into the second.
Into the second. Yeah, into the second
And
quarter.
And TCU have like a 1st and goal on the 5. Although,
okay.
Here's a penalty, of course. False start, going backwards. But yeah, the second quarter's just started. And I don't know, is it 2nd down now, I guess? Whatever. But 2nd and 7. They just were on like the 5-yard line. And they just went backwards a little bit. But nice little drive for TCU. The quarterback actually has completed a couple of passes. Who knows? If they score here, Scott, it could open things up. Like, compared to other bowl games, 7-3 early second is almost like 30-30 compared to some of the scores that we've had.
Yeah, it's amazing. But the 3-zip and the over-under is down to 47.5, almost down to full 10 points. So we'll keep an eye on that. NFL, Adam, final week of the regular season. You got some things, not a lot up for grabs, but certainly you have some. You got the 2 monster games, 2 out of the 3, including Pittsburgh and Baltimore, which is Sunday night. You got the 2 other biggies Saturday, which I'm a little surprised with, but we'll start there. Carolina, Tampa Bay. Boy, you talk about a team that's fallen, not getting up. 7 of the last 8, Tampa Bay has lost. Carolina blew a chance to clinch the division. They're getting 3 at Tampa, over under 44.5. What do you see there?
Yeah, I see a Buccaneers team that can't get out of its own way, to your point. It's not just the struggles, obviously, since that 6-2 start. Moreover, I was looking at it earlier, 5-11 against spread. That's the worst in the NFL. This is now 8 straight losses against the spread for the Buccaneers as well, which is a single-season franchise record. So it's certainly hard to invest in them, isn't it? Now, that being said, you're inside a field goal. It's just a function of, I think ultimately just general betting philosophy. Not to say we don't get 1- and 2-point games. I realize we do. But when you're inside a field goal, for me, it just becomes a thing of who's going to win this game. And this year, Carolina has been incredible as an underdog. Now, that being said, Carolina's been an underdog basically every single week. So, you could kind of take it with a grain of salt. But even still, 8 outright wins as an underdog is awfully damn impressive. And so the question is, do you think we get 9 outright, or do you think the Bucs finally show up with the season quite literally on the line for both these teams? The weird part about the Bucs is that in many ways they've gotten worse or less reliable, less consistent as they've actually gotten healthier. That's not to say there aren't guys that aren't banged up. There are, but even still, over the last handful of weeks, you get Mike Evans back, you get Chris Godwin back, Bucky Irving in and out of the lineup. Obviously, much less on the shoulders of Emeka Egbuka. Baker Mayfield has been wildly inconsistent. He was in the MVP conversation a half dozen games into the season. So it's really bizarre how this team has fallen off in quite the way that it has. It's probably a better story, honestly, if Carolina wins. But for my viewing pleasure, I would rather Tampa. I think that's a team that's just more fun to watch in the playoffs, knowing how explosive that offense has the ability to be out there. If you wanted to, I don't know to what degree it should factor in, given this game does mean something, but Ted McMillan is the narrow favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year right now. Did nothing last week, and he was questionable with an illness. Had I think a catch. Are they going to Bryce Young with the season on the line key in on him a little bit more? Is there good reason to? It's a little narrative street, I get it, but invest in overs on his props as he goes out and not only tries to get his team into the playoffs, but tries to win that award. And those things are capable of potentially going hand in hand. Otherwise, maybe Tyler Shuck of the Saints, with how well they're playing, steals that thing from them, especially if they do miss the playoffs. Results for teams shouldn't really matter in those conversations, but they tend to. You could see that just in the swings of the MVP market last night with the Rams up and down, how that was impacting Stafford against May. And so ultimately, I do like the Bucs in this one, but it's just hard to trust them.
I'll tell you what, you can make the case. I mean, obviously, in the playoffs and not is huge, right? But I can make the case that the Seattle-San Francisco game, to me anyway, is more interesting because now you're getting the number. Yes, both teams are in, so that's not life or death. But being the number one seed versus being a wild card team, that's huge. So that's why I like that.
Yeah, but the difference is, Scott, the irony is the loser of the Saturday night game is going to play the winner of the early game.
Yeah.
So it's a head-to-head sort of situation, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The loser of Seattle, San Francisco are going to fall to the 5 seed. You're either the 1 or the 5.
Then you play Seattle or San Fran again, 2 weeks later, because that's the bracket you'll be in.
If you win. Right. I mean, there's no, because again, with that first round bye, it's not like there's dictating matchups and all of that stuff. I'm with you. I mean, this game
Tampa and Carolina will both be underdogs against whoever they play.
Sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like nobody expects.
Because,
like maybe
because
Tampa, like you said, Carolina
neither
are
team
good
is
at home. Carolina's good at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they'd get a good team. We just saw Seattle go in there and beat them pretty convincingly. They did beat the Rams earlier this year. Could they beat the Rams again? Maybe. Right. I think Carolina would actually do better in the playoffs than Tampa. I think Tampa are an easy out for teams. Baker's just terrible right now. I don't know if he's injured or what it is. You talked about it. He's got some weapons back, and he's still struggling. Carolina, though, they're one of those scrappy teams. At home, I think they could compete. I don't know if they could win, but they'd have a puncher's chance, I think, at least.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's just even if you get through the one game, at that point in time, like, you're dead because it's a terrible team on the road. And so, that, to me, like Scott brought up, that later game is by far the most interesting. And I realize, like you said, both these teams are going to the playoffs, but playing for the 1 seed, it's such a compelling division to begin with those 3 teams, Rams included. And, I think one could make the case that any of those 3 teams, just in that one singular division, the West, is better than anything the AFC is throwing out right now. And so it's hard not to like the Niners. I mean, Sam Darnold at this time of the year, think back to what he did in the final week of the regular season last year with the 1 seed on the line when he was a Viking going against the Lions. Totally pooped his pants, and he's probably going to do so again in this situation. And then, go south in the first round of the playoffs as well, while Shanahan tries to punch his ticket to Coach of the Year.
Yeah, having a great job, man. We'll do it again soon. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All righty.
Arvel Reese at 8%. I got to tell you right now, I have no idea who that is if they're playing a joke on me, Joe.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Who is that?
Here, but I have no idea.
You even know?
But no idea. But don't you have to pick the Heisman winner, Don? Isn't that like the rule of thumb if you're going to take a quarterback? Is he not the best quarterback?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Already been doing some work in golf, doing some work in racing. And he said, dial into this call. And they put up this deck about what TGL is going to be. This is like 4 years ago at this point. And I was like, how have I not seen this on social? This is the Tiger's involved, Rory's involved. There's a screen. I was like, this is crazy. We were all texting each other like, is this for real? And that's really where it started.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
My problem with the Raiders is I think they're one of the worst teams in NFL history right now.
In history?
Joe,
Cleveland had some bad teams.
Joe, they had 75 yards against the Eagles. And it
That
wasn't
was
surprising.
Yeah. I mean, outside of Brock Bowers, what do they have? Trey Tucker, Ashton Genty in the offensive line.
This moment of the Raiders, they just feel so lifeless.
Need a quarterback.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League are now official partners with Kalshi. It takes effect this week. Each side can use the other's intellectual property for co-marketing purposes, and Kalshi will be promoted during home games at the United Center and on Blackhawks broadcasts. First of its kind, certainly probably not the last as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Oh, yes. Maybe the points are coming. 7-3.
First and goal,
TCU does
Trojans.
lead, but we got, first and goal, back-to-back big plays because I'm seeing
They
the
just
first
hit a
big play
bomb.
here.
Caught
Nice.
on the goal line. Buddy, fell on the one type of deal. If there was a rule I would change, college football, it's ridiculous that you're down when you're down. Like that the play is over, if you're down, you're not touched.
Right.
Like he could have rolled into the end zone. You see interceptions all the time where there could be return, but it isn't. And hopefully this doesn't turn into an adventure as they just got stuffed on first down. Yeah, now, exactly.
How many times do you see that? Then you're going to see an offensive
I'm worried about a false
offside.
start or something.
Yeah,
You got a bunch of young
start.
offensive linemen playing today. Thing is, the guys on TCU just that should have been a penalty. Like they tackled the kid, they picked him up, they pushed him back. They're all fired up here. But yeah, we got a game going on here. It's a fun game, actually. Like now some chunk plays look like USC's offense starting to open up a little bit. They got to figure out. They got one wide receiver that's a stud, and now they got some younger players in here. But their quarterback is a stud, so it's up to him to sort of make others good. And does he get in? There we go. There we go, Scott. There's the touchdown.
Yes.
Touchdown,
Touchdown.
Trojans.
All right. That's
Touchdown,
17
King
points.
Miller. We gave you King Miller,
There
too.
you
We
go.
told you
There's
King
King
Miller
Miller.
touchdown. Boom.
Yes.
There he is. King
Nice.
Miller touchdown. The
Nice.
King.
King hopefully has a big day. All right, we got a bunch of games tomorrow. I don't do this too often, but I am going to do it, I think, tomorrow with Iowa in that I think they could lose, but I'd be surprised. They play so many close games. They're a little more aggressive offensively this year, I will say, in years past. But you want to give me them almost 6 points against Vandy. I think this is 2017, 23-20. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I like them tomorrow. You mentioned Arizona State's got nobody playing, always a dangerous spot. I don't know. What are you going to get out of Michigan? What do you want to do with that one? Are they going to go completely off the wall, or are they going to? They've had enough time to adapt and use that as a sense of motivation.
The only thing with Michigan is Biff Poggi. Michigan's players are in a pretty good headspace right now. I don't think they like Moore very much, right? I don't think it's a case where it's like, oh, they're depressed. Nobody left. Like nobody said, oh, I'm leaving now. Like. They have players not playing. They're going to the NFL. Biff Poggi said that there's 12 to 15 guys in its entirety that are either going to the NFL or are injured and can't play. Yet he's being pretty coy about it. Like even the Michigan beat writers are kind of like, we don't really know what he's talking about. Like that 15 guys are out. Like we don't see 15 guys out. So I don't know if he's playing possum and whatnot, but dude, Michigan's like their star wide receivers playing, their quarterback is playing, their running back is playing, their O-line is playing. There's one guy in the O-line isn't playing, like et cetera. Like Michigan are playing their guys, and Texas actually have a lot of transfers. Actually, it's surprising, you know what I mean? But Texas have big time players that are leaving, and they want more money. They fired a defensive coordinator, so I actually think, and Biff Poggi, guys, has nothing to lose. He's got nothing to lose, and he's a pretty smart offensive guy. Like, the Michigan offense was better, Scott, when Poggi was coach, when Moore was suspended all the time in the past. Like, Michigan's offense is actually better. So, and Poggi said, imagine, you got Wink Martindale's the defensive coordinator. Biff Poggi is calling the plays and is, like, running the offense here. Bro, they're both older coaches with nothing to lose, Scott. They're not being part of the staff. They're not being retained. Right. So I think Michigan go out on their sword. You know what I mean? Like, basically, Poggi said that the offense is way too safe this year, that it's going to be wide open. They're opening it up tomorrow. I think there's going to be points in the game. I think Michigan will open it up. And, dude, Michigan last year, Scott, was the same thing. They weren't great. They were like a 7-5 team. They came off the Ohio State win. Everybody opted out, Scott. Like, Michigan were so stacked, they literally had, like, 20 players, like, going to the NFL, combine, etc. So, literally, they were without, like, 20 starters. And Michigan smoked Alabama in the bowl game. So, I wouldn't dismiss them. For me, it's Michigan plus the points in this game.
Yeah. I think I'd be more concerned with Texas, just not getting into the college football playoff. They had some slim hopes, and they were so outspoken about that it's like, you know what?
Yeah, it's a big letdown for them. It is.
Big letdown. Yeah.
Not that it's not a letdown for Michigan, but Michigan already kind of knew earlier in the year it wasn't happening for them. And behind the scenes, I think the Michigan players knew, like, that their coach, like, didn't kind of know what he was doing.
Yeah. So we should be on. I got a feeling we're going to be on 7 o'clock tomorrow, since Ohio State and Miami starts at 7:30. Just a little hunch. But we'll have plenty of
schedule
time
for
tomorrow.
8. I'll be here at 8.
We'll be here at 8. So we'll talk to you tomorrow sometime, folks.